We're live.
Oh, wow.
So
We're here.
I believe it's season two, episode something, episode four, three. All right, episode three, stories
Season
unlocked.
2.
Welcome. Thank
Oh,
you for coming in.
thanks, Ari, and thanks for making time for me, mate.
Well,
We're just talking how late it is in the day, and we're still making time for work.
well, that's it. This is not work.
I agree with you. But we agreed we love work,
That's
so we can
it.
call this fun.
That's it, man. Now it's a pleasure. I've actually been wanting to have you on board for years, but here we are. Um, let's let, let's go right back. As far as you can remember, what 3, 4, 5 years old? What was it like growing up in the Sheeth family?
Oh, wow, that far back. Mate, you're going to test my memory here and my emotional stability. I'm the eldest in my family. We grew up in Liverpool, or Sadleir, which is like the ghetto in those areas. For those that know it, no offense. And life was rough because Dad had just come to the country, no language, and really wanted to help his family. So Dad worked huge hours, like they all did. Catch a bus, catch a train, get to work. He was a bricklayer, and he would spend after hours, after work, building our house in Sadleir. And so growing up was spending as much quality time as I could with Dad building. And that could look like us working on the house on the weekends, tiling it, doing whatever we could. Mum, hairdresser, and a great one. And after she had her second child, she had to stop that. And 5 kids later,
Wow.
I was the eldest. Yeah. And that was us moving a lot. Your question, I mean, what did it look like growing up? I actually have a laugh with most of my friends. I'm 36 this year, and I've moved 38 times in my life,
Wow.
and that's what it's like living in a builder's family.
There you go. Now, okay. So, and your background, nationality.
Australian, heritage, Lebanese.
Okay, great. And obviously, your mum and dad, proud Lebanese.
Yeah,
background.
Mum born here, Dad born in Lebanon. Both Lebanese. Mum came here when she was actually born overseas. Came here when she was 3 years old, but basically as Australian as they get. Really good accent. Dad and his family fled the war in Lebanon when he was 8 years old, and moved to Germany from the age of 8, and they had to fend for their family because
Wow.
their dad didn't make it in the war. So from 8 years old, he was working in the mornings before school. He'd go to school, learning a new language, and then come home and work, to bring enough money to the table from the age of 8, which is pretty nuts. Yeah.
And what made your dad want to come to Australia? I mean, he's in Germany.
Yeah.
How did you get to Australia?
Oh, mate, I've never asked him, but I'll be sure to ask him. Maybe he just fell in love with Mum. I'm not sure.
Okay, so they
Mum
met.
was, yeah. It wasn't from my understanding. I can't say it was arranged. What they used to do back then is they'd say, look, there's all these people and all of them are interested, and you can call away and make your phone calls and meet and greet and do what you need to do. And
Phone calls.
yeah, halfway across the world. Yeah, and they spoke, and apparently my mum liked the way my dad would communicate with her over the phone over several months, and they decided to meet, and so Dad flew over, and the families met, and they all agreed it'd be, they're good, and Mum liked him, and yeah, the rest is history.
That's funny because we had that podcast yesterday, and we had George Needis from Ocean Foods, and the same thing happened with his grandparents. His parents, father was in Greece, the wife was here in Sydney, and he went over and they just met like that. Isn't it? The suspense.
I
It's
agree
better
with
than
you.
Tinder.
Right? I was
It's
going
got
to
to be a
say
bit
to you,
more. It's a bit more.
mate,
100%.
that's it's a bit more of a story.
It
I
is.
mean, we look at that and we're
Bring it back.
shocked, right? We're shocked. I feel like my age group was the only ones that did it normally, where we actually went out and met someone. I mean, look, yeah, it's frowned upon, but then the new younger generation, they're meeting online, and that's how they're getting to know each other, and spending the rest of their lives together. So I mean, what's normal? What's frowned upon, what's accepted socially. It's strange, but it's always evolving.
I think
Yeah.
it's 6 out of 10 marriages actually fail in this generation.
Oh wow,
Those odds.
that's massive.
But to be honest, it's the old WOG, and I can say this being Greek. It's the old WOG generation. They've got the lowest divorce rates in the world.
I believe it.
It's the family values. I don't think they can. They don't want the headache of.
Yeah. Everyone else trying to get involved to sort it out. I agree.
But
Yeah.
So 5-year-old Sheeth, primary school. Where'd you go?
Marsden Road Public School. I'm assuming somewhere in Marsden Road.
Marsden Road. Where's that? Isn't that Dundas? Marsden.
Mate, I'm assuming it's somewhere around Liverpool. Yeah, because that's where I grew up.
Okay,
got
it.
So that was where I started at school. I have no memories of it. I moved to Bexley in '99.
Is that high school?
No, that was year 3.
Okay.
We went to Carlton Public, and then we went to a little private school for a stint, and then high school.
So, you get to high school. Are you into sport?
Good question. I loved playing everything socially, but I wasn't a big sport guy. I was never that athletic. I played soccer, never really played footy. Did everything you meant to do as a kid growing up. But I put on weight. I loved my food, and I became quite chubby at a young age, which wasn't easy either. Like socially being accepted, that has its own struggles as well going up through high school. So sport, I played some with some soccer teams growing up, and at school I loved basketball. I used to play a lot of basketball in school, but yeah, I had other passions.
Very cool. And were you the popular kid?
No, I wasn't. Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't the popular kid, but I think I made a point of that. I frowned upon the popular kids. I never liked anyone with arrogance or had a big ego. For me, I was friends with the people that that didn't have any arrogance, and so I found myself in a lot of groups of friends, including the culturally fit group. And we had all the nerds. I was friends with the nerds, and I did really well in school, so I could hang out with them. And then there was the Islander group. I'd hang out with them. And then there was the guys that love basketball.
Neutral, aren't they?
Yeah. They were everyone's friends.
They're like Sweden.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it was. So I wasn't the popular kid, and I didn't want to be the popular kid, and I never liked the popular kid in the group. I never liked the alpha dog in the group because I always felt like they were doing it for them, and it was never about everyone else. And I was trying to be a people's person, and yeah, I hope that answers that one. Yeah.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
You can say it now. We'll wait for the next reunion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've been dodging those for a few years.
So, what kind of subjects were you doing? 10, 11, 12?
So I was pretty good at school. And so I did advanced English, advanced maths, nothing too crazy, no extension units. I did love business, kind of. I loved commerce. So I did economics, I did legal studies, and I also did visual arts, which is actually interesting that you put that combination together, because it really paints a picture of the person that I think I've become. So yeah, I studied legal and economics, and I still love those subjects till today, and visual arts, and I love design, I love art, and I do till today. So yeah.
Well, that's the combination right there. Growing up, oldest of five total siblings.
Yeah, God, I think so. I'd have to count it back. Yeah, no, I think there's actually 5 plus me. Yeah, there's 6 of us all up.
Everyone close?
Close enough. I feel like the generations have changed. Gone are the times where you'd spend Saturday and Sunday the park, and everyone had to go, and everyone had to have a barbecue, and everyone had to play volleyball. So that's changed. Being the eldest, I feel like that's got its own responsibilities, trying to keep everyone together, but also looking after your own family, etc. So look, we don't go for a week without seeing our families. We're not at each other's every night.
Well, not. I mean, that's frequent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know what's frequent anymore. Growing up, it was a bit different. Like growing up, mum's family had 10 kids. Dad's family had 7 or 8. And,
Wow.
And like they were over every night.
Wow.
And so we still, Dad, we have to go see him at least once a week.
That's like
Mum, we
18
have to see
kids.
her. Yeah.
Oh
that was
my
all
God.
the time, every day at someone else's house.
Big barbecues.
Yeah, every day.
Big
Like
Lebo
whose
barbecues.
houses are we going to this weekend, or whose house are we going to, Thursday
Some poor
night or
date
whatever.
they
it
had to
is.
cook all of the.
Yeah, and all the kids as well. So that was good fun. So look, I feel like that those times have changed, but we try to hold on to it as much as I can. But I mean, Ari, it's become a bit of a rat race. Like you were just saying it earlier. We where do we find time for all that stuff? So we make a point to see mum. We make a point to see dad. The kids are close to him. But then you got the extended family, and they all want a piece of you, and you're trying to spare yourself to try to give a bit back to everyone and get your business on track, your family on track.
It's a challenge, but we're in high school.
Yeah,
We're in high school.
Yeah.
So what's the youngest sibling?
The youngest, his name is Abdullah, and he is in year 10.
Not now. Now.
Yeah.
Youngest siblings in
year 10.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
20 years younger.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 16.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very odd because you're kind of half father figure and
You're gonna have to take him out when he gets to 18.
Yeah, well, he's going to start working at Sheeth in a few weeks.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, he's going to
Great.
start his work experience with us and see how it goes. He's very excited about it. And yeah, we've got a whole. I mean, look, he's grown up knowing about obviously his family, but also seeing what we've been able to do in 20 years. So he's super excited to ride the back of that bandwagon and good on him for it. And yeah, there's everyone in between. So I've got 2 other sisters, I've got 2 other brothers. Yeah, all of them in between all of those ages, everyone experiencing their own little life's hurdles and trying to keep the family together.
There you go. It is a challenge, but in high school, what high school were you at again? What area?
James Cook Boys High School.
Okay, now
Cogra.
was that Cogra? We're talking Aussie. Aussies back then everywhere. Cogra? No,
mate, no. Cogra's very wog.
Yeah,
it is it's actually really diverse.
of course, yeah.
Yeah. We've got the Lebanese, the Greeks, the Macedonians, Australians, Chinese, Vietnamese. God, mate, there's everyone there.
Cool, nice.
Yeah,
and,
cool school.
Cool school.
Yeah, great school.
Okay, so you just come out of school.
Yeah.
All right. So, and during this high school, are you doing any jobs back then? Are you working any hustles? Any?
Mate, I did everything. I did the lemonade stands growing up. That was good fun. I tried to start a lawnmower business, as we all do. And that was pretty funny because I remember walking over to my neighbor and he said, "Yeah, great, you can cut the lawn for $20. Book you in for Saturday," and I was really excited. And then go on Saturday and bring the gear over to his house and try to turn the lawnmower on, and the thing wouldn't turn on. That was the end of that business venture. I was also working. What was I doing? I was working at a few restaurants in Brighton and Sands, so I probably did all of those restaurants. Mate, I did them all. I did Mezes. I don't know if you remember Mezes. That was under the Novotel.
Okay.
There was also a gelato store that I worked there first, and then I went over to Neptune's. And then there was also at the time, God, I forget it, there was a Lebanese restaurant on top of Neptune's.
Okay.
But yeah, I worked at quite a few restaurants.
How good's hospitality at a young age?
Oh, it's the best. That is like life slapped in your face of everything you can expect and look forward to.
But mirroring people, I mean, those skills that you pick up, you take it anywhere. Oh
yeah, all of it. Dealing with the good, the bad, the fun, the freedom, the money. It's life packed in one day's shift, and it's pretty cool. And I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah,
they need to get a hospitality job.
A double shift. You hit the pillow like a sack of potatoes, and you appreciate
Oh, you appreciate your
it.
money that you made. Oh my
you
god,
do.
you're like that. $160 is the best
Oh,
$160 I ever earned.
yeah. So, and all those jobs that you were working during high school,
They were weekends
what
and
were,
after
what
hours.
were you doing with your money?
Oh mate,
Are you a spender or a saver?
no, I was definitely a spender.
Like,
I was definitely a spender, and I learned some good saving techniques straight after that. Straight after high school, and I realized to save no money. God, I had a lot of learning lessons with my money. It all got spent. I remember buying my first pair of TNs. I actually worked at Bag of Bargain in Hurstville. There was a little shop there called Bag of Bargain. It was actually a large supermarket that sold everything. And I saved up. I was 15, and I saved up $240, and I went over to Foot Locker and bought some leather Nike TNs, and I was so happy. And I went home, and my dad grabbed me, and he said, "I'm taking you straight back there, and you're returning those shoes." And I think the next time I bought expensive shoes, I was 25, and I bought some RM Williams, and that was the first time I spent more than $200 on shoes
mate,
after those TNs.
they just don't break. Are they the same ones from 25?
Impossible, mate. They're 11 years strong.
How good's that? So all those side little businesses, you just because not everyone works during high school, not everyone does, but you wanted to.
Mate, it was probably the fun, it was the fun, the freedom, and that it was probably a lot of freedom because growing up being the eldest, I didn't get much freedom. I was very much had to lead by example, etc. So being able to have a bit of freedom was pretty nuts for me. It was pretty insane, and I enjoyed it. So, mate, it was never about the money. The money came in as fast as it got spent as fast as it came in. But that experience was pretty cool.
Maybe come out of high school.
Yeah.
Are you interested in anything? Do you know? Are you confused? Do you know what you want to do? What's going on?
Yeah. That's when it all kind of flipped on its head after high school. So after high school, I spent 3 months, best summer months of my life. I had nothing to do. Didn't need to go anywhere or meet anyone, or didn't have any obligations. I worked with a courier company, and we'd turn off our phones at 11 a.m. and we'd go down to the beach, and the phones left in the truck, and we'd spend every day that summer sunbaking and swimming. It was God's honest best summer I ever had.
They didn't have the
God,
tracking
how long ago
devices
was that?
back
20
then.
something years ago. What's
They
that?
didn't have those tracking devices back then where they can see where you're driving.
Mate, they probably did in the truck, and we did not care. It was like it was insane. So that's when I finished school, best summer of my life. And then I wasn't expecting to. I was expecting to do good in school, but towards the end of high school, I was just over it. So I was holding my breath, waiting to see what happened, and then I got my marks, and they were actually good marks. I couldn't believe that. And then I got into law in UWS, which I freaked out about. I really wanted to get into law, but to actually get into law was insane. So that ticked a lot of boxes for myself and for my family, probably more so for my family.
And why law?
Look, growing up, you're in a WOG family, so you either need to be a doctor or a lawyer. That was it. You didn't get much other choices.
You weren't going to be a doctor,
and I didn't want to be a doctor.
Okay.
And I actually had a knack for arguing, debating, and finding a solution. So for me, law was the right path, and I still love law. Unfortunately, I took a double degree, and the second degree was accounting, which I hate. So I spent 2 years in uni again. Like, wow, what an experience! This is straight after high school. Changed my life. And failed accounting miserably. I think I failed the accounting subject 3 times, which means you're out of uni. But I loved law. I was doing really well in law.
Were you working on the side during this time?
I was working full time. So there wasn't a time in my life or career since I was 16 that I wasn't working and studying. And so I studied uni full time, and I was working full time.
And where were you working full
time? Everywhere from that courier company, which I started with.
That was a good one.
That was a great one, especially if you're finishing at 11 a.m. and heading to the beach. Where else did I work? I worked in construction, and then I started working with Dad, who's a builder, to see what he could offer. So it was really those main sectors.
Tell me about your dad. During yourself coming out of school, is it his own thing? Is he just? What's he do exactly doing?
Dad is a residential builder, and he owned his own company, and he built really great houses for anyone and everyone. He took some big gigs for the government, where he'd build 26 and 35 homes at any given time towards Nyngan and Walgett and Orange, which was not easy for people to do, especially out that way, and he'd tackle those projects. And then he became a builder for people to build their houses, and then eventually he would build for his own. So that's what life was like. It was us living in houses, and flipping them, building them, moving back into them, and then selling them and moving to the next house. And that was life for the better part of 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's tiring too, isn't it? House to house.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
People say it's tiring, and people say it's tiring when usually like they've only lived in 1, 2, 3 houses their whole life. For us, it was, I mean, like growing up, we're kids, right? So it's like, this is the next exciting adventure. Which one are we going to buy? How are we going to build it? What's it going to look like? How much are we going to sell it, etc. So it was actually really exciting. It wasn't until I was probably married and had to do it for myself that I realized that, yeah, this takes a toll. Like, this is hard work. And even then, like, since I've been married 10 years, we've moved probably 10 times, and that's hard work. But
add the kids.
But mate, it becomes like we find ourselves, we can't sit still, unfortunately. Like, I think the longest we've ever been in a house was like 3 or 4 years, and that was insane. That was nuts for us.
Insane, eh?
Yeah.
Like a prison.
Look, it was a prison, but it was also like, okay, now I get it. This is why people like to stay in their houses, because you start, getting memories, and you start appreciating the small stuff. That's the longest I've been in the house, but otherwise it was. Mate, I've moved more times than I've been alive on this earth in years. So
crazy.
Yeah.
So, you're doing your law degree. You're having a crack at the accounting degree. What happens after that? How old were you? 21?
21, 22.
Yeah, what's going on?
What is going on? At that point, I don't know what I want in life. So that question you asked earlier, and that's when the confusion sets in.
And isn't it weird as a man when you get that confusion and you're going, I got to support a family and I don't know what's going on?
Yeah, lucky for me, I wasn't supporting a family at the time. Dad was still doing that, and maybe I was trying to be a child for as long as I could be.
Yes.
What was hard for me then, what was really, really hard for me then, and thank God I had that moment in my life, was, hold on, I'm not 18 anymore, not 19, I'm 20, 21, 22, and I've flunked my accounting degree. I'm enjoying law, but at this pace, I'm not going to finish it. I'm the eldest child. I've got 5 other siblings that are going to follow in my footsteps, or look down on me because I failed them. I've got a family that's very proud of their eldest child, and parents that have always held me like the golden goose. And I was about to let them all down, and that was really frightening for me. For me, it wasn't about letting myself down. I didn't care about myself. For me, it was about, like, I've been brought up with family that have worked their backsides off. For Dad, that's worked night and day. For Mum, that's given everything to my siblings, and I'm making a joke of it, and that was hard.
I think you've just unlocked the insecurities of all the men watching right now.
Yeah, that's everyone's story. I thought I was special, mate.
The camera guys are freaking out. Low key, it's scary.
Yeah, look, I don't know how many people can share that story, and maybe a lot of them, but for me, that was the hardest part of my life, but also probably the most important point in my life, because at that point, I was probably rock bottom. No longer in uni because of the accounting degree that went sideways, and socially and mentally and all of that. It just was not going in the path that I had set my whole life to going. And all the fun that you think you have in there, it's not fun anymore. And all the money you're earning, it's getting pissed up the wall, so it doesn't account for anything. And so the important stuff in life, or at least the stuff you thought were important, end up just being these sand that's slipping through your fingers, and you're not really grabbing onto anything that's meaningful. that's tough. And that was a great moment for me to see that and experience that, and recognizing that, and working out how to correct that. That was pretty serious stuff.
Well, I'm feeling the good thing about this whole situation is you're 22, you caught it early because you don't want to be 40. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and then you go, wait.
Mate, I agree. I'll tell you
caught
what,
it,
if
you
I
caught it
waited
early.
another year, Ari, I probably couldn't have caught it. Yeah, I caught it. And for me, what that looked like was me having this awakening, and saying, all right, I'm going to have to take baby steps to recorrect what the hell I'm doing with my life. So I found myself doing a TAFE diploma in structural engineering, which I have no interest in. But I thought at least it's a pathway back into something that I can sink my teeth into. And I found myself still enjoying life, still having some really good friends, but actually like doing well in education because I thought no more joking around. But that whole path, as much as I say it was a pivotal moment, I think it still really took some time. Like I'm going to say, it probably took a year or two to really correct that course. So I did TAFE, I did structural engineering, and I did a bloody good job of it, which, I surprised myself after 3 years of joking around to correct that and do structural engineering and really kick some ass there. And I don't mean just studying. I mean, like, I'd find weird and wonderful ways of achieving the goals, exams, meeting people, connecting with the right people. And that was really fun to tackle that part of life. And then after the 2 years of doing the structural engineering, finding myself back to a full-time job, learning construction, and then that started working out. And I was like, holy shit, like if I actually put some energy into making, focusing on things working, then they work. And then I found myself accepting a degree in construction management back in uni, in the same uni that I dropped out of, which was interesting. And I think it was at that point in my life when I realized, holy shit, like if I remove this concept of this idea that there is no solution here, that I can actually really achieve anything that I put my mind to. God, that sounds very cliche, but it's very true. And I think I've matured from there to understand that, failure's fine. You can fail as long as, you get back up and you give it a red hot go. I think the only failure is thinking that there's no solution. So I removed that, and then the stars started aligning for me, and I kicked ass in my degree at uni and kicked ass at work, and yeah, it started going the right way.
So now you're 25 years old, 3 years of structural engineering, and you're finding that you're clicking into gear, finding some purpose.
Yeah.
Now what?
So,
are you married yet? Or what's
no,
going
no,
on?
no. So that actually happened at 23. So 23.
You're married at 23?
No. I got married at 25, 26.
Okay.
But yeah, it clicked into gear at 23. I remember that because it was like my birthday, and I was 23, and I went for an interview. So I was at uni, and then I was like, I can make this thing work. Life's doesn't have to be as hard as I think it is. And I said, all these guys, these snobbish guys at uni, they all walk around with their noses up because they got big jobs with big builders in the city. I'm going to go get a job with a big builder in the city. So I went to a recruiter and I said, you get me an interview and I'll get the job. Like, just leave it to me. And he did. The recruiter got me an interview, and a couple of days later I went for an interview and I got the job. I got the job as soon as I left the office. They gave me a bell and they said, can you start Monday? So that's when life really corrected itself. I was turning 23. I just got this job. Uni was going good, and I was like, holy shit, like I can make this thing work. And an interesting kind of phenomenon happened there. I started realizing that the more I gave to the universe, the more it was giving back to me in spades full. And that was frightening.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, that was really frightening for me. And I will explain it. Yeah, that was actually something I don't mind reliving and enjoying, because it's pretty powerful. I felt like I'm doing a bit of good here. Like, this isn't even all the good I can do. I'm doing a bit of good here for the universe. Like, I'm helping cousins on the weekend, or I'm helping uncle move houses, or I'm going to see my mum more often, or I'm at a charity event, or I'm spending a bit more time studying. And when I'm doing this, the fruits of my actions were like 10 to 1. I was getting people that had huge gratitude, or I was kicking ass in my exams, or my job was going great and I was getting promoted, or I was meeting, my now partner, and all of this stuff was happening, and I wasn't even given that much. And I was like, holy shit, like this is a really good recipe to success. So I'm going to give a bit more, and I would give a bit more, and it would come tenfold again. And that's scary as well, because then you're like, holy shit. So if I do something bad here, I can lose all of this, like all of this good luck, or universe looking after me, or God looking after me, whatever it is. I'm not in a position to give it up. I don't want to risk giving it up. I don't want to screw up, and I'm just going to keep doing good. And as long as I keep doing good, I'm going to keep getting spades full of good back. And it did, and it kept happening. And then I got the job, and I was kicking ass, and I was doing well, and I was getting addicted to my work, like I was sharing with you earlier. I'd be the first one in the office. I would have my laser focus on getting the job done, and I would. And I'd go home late, I'd have dinner, and I was back on the laptop, and I was punching out work till midnight, and it was rinse and repeat every day. And then I met my partner, and she was great, and life was good at the time.
Where'd you meet your partner?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good story. I think it's a good story. It's better than all those Tinder stories. Apologies for anyone that met their partner on Tinder or social media. So I was building my director's house at the time. Very nice.
Here
guy.
we go.
Yeah. Not the way you're painting it out to me.
Okay,
I've just realized, this is sounding terrible. It is not what you think it is. And God, it's actually going to sound worse now as the story goes on before it gets better. So I was building my director's house at the time, and his wife came home. No, I'm joking. His wife didn't come home. And then I had a trade on the job. One of the tradesmen was working on the job, and he was finishing his works, and we had some defects, and I just so happened the foreman couldn't be on the house at the day, so I said, I'll cover you. I got this. I'll go out to the job and I'll fix the defects. You have your day off, or whatever it was he was doing. And that day I was with the trade, monitoring him as he was doing his defects, and he said, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I said, nothing, mate. I just want you to finish and let's go on our merry way, go home. And he said, well, I'm going to a charity dinner. I've got a spare ticket. Do you want to come with me? I don't know what came over me, but I said yes. And he said, oh, this is great. And I actually left there thinking, why did I say yes to this guy? Charity event, why not? I can't say no to the universe right now. It's doing too much good for me. So I get to the charity event, and I get there on time, which is nice at the time, because I'm a big fan of trying to come on time. And they came an hour late. And as soon as they came, and by they I mean himself and his guests, to this charity event on the table that he booked, they came an hour late, and I said, it's rude to come late to an event. And I really despise people come late to events, even though I do it now. So apologies to everyone I ever frowned upon. And when I said to this guy, it's late to come to an event, there was a woman there, or a girl, and she said, how dare you say that? You don't know us from a bar of soap. So she's actually my wife now, right? We ended up chatting that night, not much. The charity stunk. It was crap. The food was crap. And we found ourselves going to a Porto's in, I don't know which area it was, probably Punch Bowl or something. And we spent till midnight at a Porto's chatting. And he ended up leaving me alone, and he went off, and I was chatting with my wife now, and we exchanged numbers, and then a year and a half later, we got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's authentic.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And, yourself having the, I'm going to say it, the balls to have all these guys come in and go, you're late.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I didn't have a filter. I've been trying to work on that. I didn't have a filter, and
who's this guy?
mate, I should have watched what I said, but I guess everything happens for a reason, right? If I watched what I said, maybe I wouldn't have been here today with my partner. But yeah, I've learned to try to consider what I say a bit more carefully, because I probably say the wrong things sometimes.
I laughed and I drank the sparkling water.
I'm gonna have to drink something.
Now that's awesome. So you married at what, 26 years old?
Yeah.
And you're a proud Muslim.
I am.
How's that
Proud practicing Muslim.
so far impacted up until 25 guided you? Tell us about that. How's that played a part in the journey?
Yeah. God, good question. And I've never been asked that question, Ari.
Thank you.
I was always proud of my heritage. And again, please, no one take offense to this. It's only what I think. And I'm a nobody, but I never liked the. I used to call myself Sam when I worked in those hospitality businesses, back at Neptune's and all that jazz. Just because I thought it was easier for people to say my name, and I hated that about myself. I thought I don't know why I call myself Sam. I'm not Sam. My name's Hussein, and I'm proud of being Hussein. I've got nothing to be ashamed of. So when coming up through the company I worked for, Next, NEXT, awesome company, awesome guys, still very close to them. My name was Hussein, and they respected that, and they were great, and my clients respected that, and they were really cool. The obstacles probably didn't look. They started towards the back end of working at Next, because I got married. I was trying to get everything a bit more serious in my life. I was trying to give back to the universe for all the good it was doing. And as someone that was continuing to practice more and more because life was being good to me, so I didn't want to ruin it, I found myself finding it hard to be a part of that circle, I'm going to call it, because I don't drink, and a lot of the experience there is celebrated with drinking. So that was hard work, and I learned to have to just manage myself and deal with that situation. And some of the celebratory events or even client meetings or whatever it was just became a bit trickier. But I think clients have always been really respectful. And I think that's probably because I surround myself around like-minded people, or at least I try to. And I respect everyone, all walks of life, and I hope and I can appreciate that people do the same for me, and if they don't, I distance myself from those people. But the hard work there started probably when I actually started my company, Sheeth. And I don't know if I'm going too fast now, but that's when.
What age was that?
What's that?
Sheeth,
what age was that? I think I was 27.
27, so we're still
20,
there.
27, 28, yeah.
And why Sheeth? Like,
probably 28, 27, 28. Yeah.
To go out on your own, like, why start your own company? Why take all the risk?
Yeah, God.
And you know what?
That was a whole moment in my life, mate.
That was your last name, right?
Yeah. Called it my last name.
That's a WOG thing, eh?
Yeah, probably. Proud heritage. That's what it is.
Because I find it when I go to Greece. I look at the supermarket. It'll be like Georgopoulos, Papadopoulos vet. They'll just call the last name.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. I'd say it's probably the easy way out of trying to come up with a name. Yeah, I've also had to try to do that, and that's hard work.
But you get a sense of pride.
Yeah,
you get a sense of. I mean, that's your last name. It's your business. It's you're looking at it like that's.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and there's also like, this is my way of telling everyone I'm putting it all on the line here, and I'm a man of my word, and I'm a man of my values, and this is me, loud and clear saying that this is Sheeth, and if I screw up, then that's my last name, and I deserve to, be pulled through the dirt over it. So I'm not going to screw up. So there was a lot of that. There's pride, but there's also making myself.
Start another one and liquidate.
Well, I can't do that, right? How many sheets can I have? You're absolutely right, and a lot of that played into it as well. And look, I come from a proud Lebanese background, proud building heritage, and probably back to your question about my dad, just a proud background with my family, and Dad was a great builder, and still is a great builder. God, he runs rings around me today, and he had, and everyone in the community and everyone he ever associated with knew him as the best builder, and I was proud of that. And I grew up, and he taught me how to build. So this was my way of saying that we're here to stay, and I'm going to continue his legacy, and keep the Sheeth name strong. And I've been trying to do that, from day one.
But when you started it, I mean, you get the comfort of a full-time job. You get paid quite well in the construction game. Why take all the risk? Why?
Yeah. I'll try to sum it up for you rather than giving you a long speech. Why do it? So I got to the top of the food chain in that company, and it was a big company. It wasn't a big company when I started. It was a small company, but we grew to 120 employees or something like that. And I was a construction manager, and there was only 3 other people I'd report to. It's funny though, because at the top, the room is small. Like, there is no room to move, no room to spread your wings, as they say. And you start and you start feeling claustrophobic mentally. And I felt like I was hitting a glass ceiling, and it was a glass ceiling I put on myself. Like, they gave me the room that I needed to do what I needed to do, but I felt like my energies were now spent there at a ceiling that I wasn't prepared to go any further. And a lot of that had to do with my values. Like, I didn't share the same values, and it really took my whole career to realize that my values were slightly different. I mean, they were close, but they were slightly different to the values this company held. And I don't know if I was ready to exert any more energy and my time and my life into values that weren't really me. And I felt like the world deserved what they've been frowning on in the building industry. The world deserved to experience what a better side to it. Let's call it that. And I was prepared to do that and follow my values, which are integrity, passion, and purpose. And give the world all these things that they would say, give it back to them and deliver what I would now call the right way of delivering a service. And that's why I did Sheeth. I started Sheeth because I didn't believe in their values anymore, and I wanted my values to be what I strived for, and I wanted to give the world a service that they were actually paying for.
You're dropping some serious business knowledge if you just realize he's taking some notes over here.
You're welcome anytime you want. I'm happy to spend hours with you. It'll be a pleasure.
What have you got there? What'd you write?
All of that. I've recorded it all.
All right, Tia, let's go.
We're not actually live for the podcast. This is for you.
Let's bounce. That's awesome. And when Sheeth first started, I mean, is it resi? Is it commercial? Where are you going? Is it doing you're in a network? I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying. So I started with my brother Muhammad. He was 5 years younger than me, and just as hungry. And we went out. It's really quite a nice story. It was coming up to the 5th of January, and we had to start up again on the 8th of January back at Next. And I called an emergency meeting between me and my brother Muhammad and my brother Yusuf, and I said, who wants to go for a drive to Brisbane in a convertible? And they all said yes. So a few hours later, we jumped in Muhammad's convertible and we drove to Brisbane, and we spent 12 hours on the road chatting, and one night in Brisbane and then 12 hours back home. And we decided on that trip that we were going to make the jump and we were going to start Sheeth. And what that looked like for us was we said, all right, we've got to sit down and do some calcs. And we worked out that if we just won one project, we said one good resi project, and by good resi, I mean like a double-story house or whatever it is, that we could survive. Like, that was enough for our wages. And so we would work after hours, never at work. We would work after hours on starting this website and working out what our values were and putting all these pieces together and trying to find these opportunities ready to make that decision to leave next by mid that year. So we're aiming for like a July 1st. And then Dad called me and he said, and this was March, and he said, look, I got a phone call from an old client of mine. I told him I'm retired, but I told him my son's building, would you be interested in building it? And I was like, shit, okay, like this is serious, sure. So I would go after work and I would meet with this client and we'd, work out the price and work on the drawings. And this is now mid-March and, he said, great, let's start. And I was like, holy shit, I'm actually going to do this now. And the contract got presented and he signed his part. And I was like, if I sign this, I'm going to have to exit. So I signed the paperwork. I signed on the dotted line and I handed in my resignation the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. And we started with one job. And I was like, if we just have this one job that year, we would be successful. And that was a resi job. And we ended up in East Lakes.
East Lakes.
Yeah. And we ended up doing 32 projects that year in our first year, which is absolutely nuts. Absolute chaos. That was between 3 people.
Wow.
It was absolutely insane. Great times.
You got 27, 28 still. 28.
I'm 27 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. 27. My brother's 22. We employed one person who's still with me till today, my dear friend Rabi. And we built 32 projects that year.
That was all resi?
No, that was everything mixed. We probably did 4 or 5 resis, and we did like 28, 30 commercial projects, anything from a $15,000 lick of paint to someone's laundry through to $400,000 fit outs.
Yeah.
Everything in between. So predominantly commercial and a handful of residential.
How do you keep the quality control on that scale? 3 people. How was that done?
How do you keep the quality control? Not easily. Look, Ari, I mean it when I say, and you know this firsthand, when they say like to have a successful business, in the first 2 years if you're going to make it, and they tell you that you're going to work 18 hours a day, they mean every word of it. Like, if you are not working 18 hours a day for the first 2 years of your business, it is not going to succeed. I don't care what they say. And that doesn't actually physically mean you need to be behind your desk 18 hours a day. I think it's not until you've done it you realize it means that every waking moment you are on it. Like you're tackling something, you're thinking of something, you're lining up your next work, you're preparing for your next meeting, or you're going to sleep, making sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed for your next day. That is what it takes for the first 2 years to actually say, I've now got a business. It's official.
Yeah. And it's weird in those first couple of years of business because you never feel like you're stable those first 4 years. You just feel like you're on edge, like one bad review is just everything's going to come crashing down. Just that thought.
Yeah. I agree with you. I was really fortunate to, and I didn't even realize to do this because I've got a terrible memory. I've got a memory of goldfish, but there's some things that stuck, and those things that stuck for me was everything good that I learned from my directors and the people around me, and I mean like they were at the highest level. Everything good that they shared, I absorbed, and I could like all of a sudden it was coming out, and I could remember this stuff. And everything bad that they did, that surfaced as well. And I was like, holy shit, I've got to stay away from that because that was one bad thing that I remember, he did, or a client said he shouldn't have done that, whatever it was. So after my first chaotic year of business, and I would argue coming into my second chaotic year of business, and look, it was chaos, Ari. So to say I thought about bank balances, mate, there was times where we would have a half a job on, and in 2 weeks we wouldn't have another job, and we didn't have another job. But I don't know that fazed me because at the time I was like, I've already done 10 times more than I ever expected this business to do. Like I was prepared to tackle this project with one job for a year. Like we've already done 50. So I guess for me there was actually a lot of learning lessons there. And you've just reminded me now. There were some tough times. We won these big jobs. We organized all these consultants, and we're up to about $160,000 in debt. And this client liquidated their company, and all of a sudden I owed $160,000 to consultants. This is the first year of business.
So how does that work exactly? So you're spending. You're putting your neck on the line, but you don't have a written agreement. You have a written agreement.
You have a written agreement.
Yeah, have it.
Yeah.
But they just was that what they planned? Did these people do it on purpose, or was that?
Look, it was very immature of me to be engaged on a project where I didn't do my checks and balances. And look, they were nice enough about it, and they apologized, and I do accept their apology. It's something that I've learned, and I'm proud to have learned that. What that looks like, to answer your question, is they take on a development because they have a land and they believe they can sell the properties, and they engage a builder to work on what they call an ECI, an early contractor involvement, and that's to really help them just get through the authorities and the documentation to make sure it's buildable. They sell a few apartments, the bank lends them the money, and off you go. They couldn't sell the apartments. So all of a sudden...
What area was this?
Waterloo. It was a good area. Yeah, it was a good area, and they couldn't sell a single property. It was a little boutique apartment with 8 apartments. So yeah, I'm 160 grand in debt, and I was not about to screw over the consultants that I brought on, and I wanted to make sure people knew that from day one. I wasn't going to let myself fall into that trap, because then I wouldn't live with myself. So I sat down with each of those consultants and I explained to them what happened, and I said, whatever you want to charge me is fair. And almost all of them agreed to half their bill and to give me time. And so I spent the next several months laser focused on paying off that debt. And just you asked there, how did I make it work? I've always been a fan of believing that there's no secret magic sauce to anything. Like everything, there's no one trick pony. Like there is a lot of things that have to go right all at once, all at the same time. So I had to work out how to pay off this debt. So laser focused on that. I had to put myself on what I call a tuna budget. So working out what my cost of living is, making sure I'm not paying myself $1 more than that. And man, no splurging, no buying fancy stuff, no going on fancy holidays. It was all like every box needs to be ticked for this thing to work all the time. And I was pretty strict on myself and people around me, and I stuck to my values, and I stuck to making sure I looked after people and delivering on my promise. And I didn't give myself the option of failure. And that's how we got through it. But after year 2, and you said, 4 years of chaos. After year 2, I was fortunate to meet my business coach, who was actually my old managing director and the first person to interview me. And we got chatting, and he had just exited the business himself, and so he just wanted to chat and talk business and talk personal, and he was on what you'd call garden leave, and he really said, I'm happy to sit down with you and talk to you about Sheeth, and we did for many months, and he worked through a lot of obstacles with me, and all of a sudden I realized the value in surrounding myself around people that had done it before, and I was all in. Like some of my earliest recruitment processes were of staff that everyone thought I was crazy to engage. Like we were 3 people in, and I wanted to hire a full-time marketing manager, and everyone's like, "Me, you don't even have another foreman." And I was like, "I need this. Like this person's the right fit." And they're like, "You're crazy." Anyway, and then business coach's advice, and he was like, "What's the worst that can happen? You're gonna lose. You're gonna let him go after 3 months. Like, are we really talking about 20 grand here?"
That's not the full-time salary.
Well, no, that's right.
It's 3 months.
It's 3 months, and people don't look at it that way. And there was some real eye-opening moments that he really taught me, and they were so powerful. I use them till today. Like we're 7 years on.
And that's Mark Denoyer.
It's Mark Denoyer.
Denoyer.
Yeah.
We share the same mentor.
Yeah. Oh, what a remarkable person. Till this day, I say
small world that we both crossed the same individual.
Yeah.
He was the building blocks of White Key.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago, and
building blocks of Sheeth 7 years ago.
There you go.
Yeah. So I was his first client.
Shout out to Mark. Yeah. I actually got this podcast idea from you too.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Mark. I hope he's paying you for the idea, mate. Well deserved, Mark. Big shout out. He's an extraordinary person and a dear friend of mine. And he really put things in perspective for me. It was like, really, are we talking about 20 grand here? Like, you've just done 50 odd projects. Like, fucking go hire her, mate. And I would. And she paid her salary off in the first month that I hired her. And I was like, shit, this thing works. Okay, so what's the next thing we're going to do? How do I work out what my pipeline is. I'm terrified of investing in my business because I've only got 3 months of secure turnover.
And how many years in were you?
So I'm third year in.
So it's scary times.
Yeah,
Third
year
year
in.
is you feel vulnerable.
Yeah. Third year is like I've actually had some success. How do I keep this success? And so far it's 2019, and I'm like, holy shit! Like this is third year in, and I'm not doing the same numbers I was doing in year 1 and 2, and I'm now 7 staff. I'm not 3 anymore. So I'm not making as much money, and I'm just paying for wages. And that's when he started teaching me those valuable lessons, and he got me on board for Mark Denoyer 1.0. This was before EOS, and he came in and helped me work out the power of working out your unsecured turnover. Like this is the stuff that we're tendering on. This is the opportunities. What is that worth? And turning it into metrics and turning it into KPIs, and the power of goals. Like, what do you want to look like when you're retired? What does that look like as a 10-year goal? If you're going to do that in 30 years, well, what's next year look like? And painting that picture across the board and really keeping a rigid structure to achieve that helped me get to where I am today. And they were the building blocks that I still use till this day.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, all that's great advice, but you've got to put the work in too, right?
You have to, mate. People ask me all the time, Ari. People are like, can we catch up? Can you tell me how you done it? Can you show me the papers? Can you show me all your documents? Show me your business, your business plan and your organization board that you say you live and breathe. And I warn them, I say, mate, I'm happy to show you all of this, and I'm happy to spend all the time in the world with you, and it's not going to come at a cost. I just want to see you do well and be happy. But like, if you're not going to implement it, then we're both wasting each other's time. And mate, I'm 7 years in, 4 years after having EOS, and I have to live and breathe it every day, like every day. And you have to really believe in it. You can't for a second like question it. Like, really, like, do I have to have this KPI meeting? I've just had one 3 weeks ago. Things haven't changed. You fucking have to have the KPI meeting. You've got to do it. Or am I really, having to put this person on a performance plan? The person's probably going to improve themselves. Mate, you got to follow it. You got to be regimented, and you cannot take your eye off the ball at all, ever. The only time you can take off your eye off the ball is like the 2 weeks you get for your summer holiday, where you can lie on your grass in the front yard and you can make pictures out of the clouds. That is the only 2 weeks you get off.
Yeah, and isn't it a beautiful feeling when you put in hard work and then you put your feet up, you go, whoa.
Mate, Ari, I'm telling you, I'm saying that because that's the 2 weeks of the year that I look forward to most, which is lying on my grass. It's funny how the simple things are what motivate us, right? It's lying on the front lawn and looking up at the sky while my kids play in the park across the road and making pictures out of the clouds. That's what I look forward to doing.
And you talked about you could show all your cheat codes and all your tricks, and you could do that. And I think all business owners have been in a place where they get a team member, they've moved on, they've created the exact same company that you have, and you kind of freak out thinking, oh my God, but at the end of the day, you could take every single little cheat code of Sheeth, but you got to have the hard work, the extreme hard work for it to work. I mean,
I agree, Ari.
7 days a week, right?
Mate, I agree, and my perspective of that changed very early on in my career, which people can't understand, and rightfully so. I guess I could see why they don't understand. But when I'm interviewing anyone, if their motivations and their driving factors are not big enough, like not bigger than me and them, then they're not the right fit for me. And I mean, like, I want them to kick it out of the ballpark. I want them to be bigger and badder than Sheeth in 10 years. I want them to be telling me that I want to spend 5 years here and then I'm going to go do and be a bigger builder than you, and I'm going to be better, and I'm going to be all of that stuff. And they're the best people because they are going to give you 120% of themselves, and no one else will. And you're going to get to enjoy the experience of seeing these people like relive what you went through and do it even better, and you're there to guide them, and they're going to create something pretty special of themselves. And if they're willing to give it a crack, then I take my hat off to them and I'll be there to guide them. And if they're going to give me 5 good years, mate, if they're going to give me 3 good years, that is better than someone that I'm going to employ that's going to give me 70% of themselves for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. I'm not interested in those people. So, mate, that was, other than those people that I would hire, it was other people that I knew were loyal and they were just really, really bloody good at what they did. And I could trust them with my eyes closed. They were the other group that I'd hire. But between those two, I'd welcome competition. I would welcome employees that wanted to eventually open and start their own thing. And I think that's also what's attracted some really great people to the company and clients, because I didn't want anyone to not succeed. Like, there's enough room in this industry for everyone to succeed.
That's awesome. Can I have a job?
You are, Harry, there is plenty of desks at the office. You are welcome to. The industry pays well, pays insane. And we actually want everyone to enjoy themselves. But I mean, like anyone, and yourself, they've got to put the hard work in. It's not easy. Like, to think you can come in and just walk your way through any industry, you're joking yourself. Having a career that pays well, pays as good as construction does, it's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah. So, I guess, how many years, Sheeth?
7.
7 years.
Yeah,
It hasn't been long.
And I question myself every day. Like, I thought I had the warehouse that I have for 2 years, and apparently I've had it for 4. So I'm wondering if it is 7. But last time I checked, it was 7 years.
So you're in Marrickville now, but before Marrickville, where was it?
So the first office I had, and my brother Mohammed laughs about it all the time. He says it was in my laundry in Bexley. It wasn't actually the laundry; it was the room next to the laundry, which was slightly bigger than the laundry.
Okay.
So that lasted about. There you go, mate. Just to correct it, Mohammed. It was the room next to the laundry. That lasted about, God, we were there for 2 or 3 months at the most. And then I got a really great opportunity, and that was in Marrickville for Imagination Graphics. And he showed me this really old rundown warehouse, and he said, I want to fit it out. I want to do X, Y, Z. And I was like, do you have plans? He said, no. So we would sketch up on some A3 paper what he wanted, and I would price it off this SketchUp. And one day he took me upstairs to this ruin of an office, and he said, no one's had this place for 30 years. What's it going to cost to fix it up so I can rent it? And I said, how much do you want to rent it for? And he said, I don't know, mate, 20 grand. I said, I'll take it off your hands right now for 20 grand as it is. And he said, okay.
20 grand to rent it?
Yeah. 20 grand a year to rent it.
Okay. That's pretty good.
That was very good. It was 80 square meters. It was in Marrickville. Mind you, this thing had 30 years of dust on it. Like, I mean, layers upon layers upon layers of dust. And it was, I probably spent 100 grand fitting it out. So I think I've got the raw end of the straw there. But I remember going to shake his hand, and I said, including GST, as I shook his hand, and he had a laugh and he said, it's done. So my first office was Marrickville. It's actually down the road from my previous one.
Write that down, including GST.
Yeah, exactly. When you're about to do a deal, say XGC if it's for you, so you make more money. So that was really cool. That was Sydney Street in Marrickville, and we really made it a home for us. We put 8 workstations, and after year 1, we bolted on 4 more workstations, and they filled up. And then at the end of year 2, we bolted on another 2 at the end of that, and people started working in the boardroom. And at that point, we were 14 people sitting in an office that should have had 8, and we were on the hunt for a bigger place. And we just thought we were going to rent a larger place, and everything we looked at was not going to cater for the growth. And then we said, okay, maybe we got to buy something. So we started looking to buy in and around Marrickville, Alexandria. And then Mohammed called me one day and he said, look, I've just gone past a warehouse. It's 3 times bigger than we ever wanted, but I really think you should look at it. And I was like, sure, like I'll swing past. It was down the road anyway. And I swung past, and it was this old red brick warehouse that you wouldn't look at if you ever drove past it. And I walked inside, and I was like, holy shit, like this is us. Like, this is perfect. And it was massive. The thing's like 800 something square meters of floor space. I wouldn't need it. Yeah. So it's 480 ground floor, upstairs, basement, etc.
Oh my God. We'll put some shots on the screen right now.
Mate, it was pretty. Yeah, it was a pretty old place, mate. There was a 480 square meters of asbestos roof. It was an old military warehouse where they would build drones and work on mannequins that they would fire on, create all this fancy stuff. It was pretty cool. And we negotiated and we bought the place for what we thought was a lot of bloody money at the time. It was double what we were planning on spending. And again, thanks to Mark Denoyer and our confusion, we sat down with our business coach and we said, this is the problem. It is twice as much as we wanted to spend. And we did the numbers in a 1 hour meeting with him. And by the end of that meeting, it made sense that we went out and bought it. And we did. And we didn't regret it.
Did you feel like being back against the wall? I mean, loans,
big time. Oh mate, I went from $1,800 a month rent to $18,000 in mortgage. So it was really game on at the time, and we were 2019 October 29. Sorry, we were October. Yeah, we were October 19. No, we were October 20. Well, 2020. We had just been through COVID.
Yeah.
Through the phase of COVID, and we were like, we need to ramp this up. So we bought the warehouse and we just went pretty nuts on our sales and marketing. And by then we worked out a really good recipe with sales and marketing, and I live and breathe it today. And I make excuses for myself every day, and I tell you that they are excuses because I believe that when you want to make things happen, you can quite easily. And what we learned was if we needed sales, all we had to do was put our dancing shoes on and make some sales, and we would. And I'm a big believer of that, especially considering what we call ourselves a small to medium builder. To make a builder busy, being a small to medium builder or small to medium business, you don't need interest rates to go down. You don't need the government to fix policies. You actually need to go and put yourself out there and just make shit happen. And we learned that if we actually focused an extra 8 to 10 hours a week on sales, then we would do that. And again, like I said, to make us busy, we would need anywhere between 6 and 8 live projects at a time. That's not much. That's me making 6 to 8 sales. Unlike other companies, like an accountant, where they might need to have 100 or 200 clients a year to make a salary. For us to be really like killing it, we need 20 projects a year. So it wasn't hard to get busy.
I actually heard you say it the other day. You said every time you look for it, you get lucky.
Mm.
What do you mean? What's look for it? Is that like increase ad budget? Is that what do you mean look for it? Let me pick up your phone and start calling. What's going on?
Yeah, Ari. How
does it happen?
It was me just facing something that I probably didn't want to face. It's not everyone enjoys sales. I don't enjoy sales. Some people like it, I guess. I haven't met that person yet. So for me, and I actually had this meeting with my CFO today, we had a laugh about it. He said, are you the same guy like me where, when you're tackling obstacles, you always choose the easier obstacles to tackle first so you can build momentum and then you tackle the big obstacles? And I said, yeah, that's me. That's me all the time. And sales is not something I don't think anyone enjoys, like picking up the phone and hustling to get work. So the easy way out is for me to sit behind my desk or meet the team or spend time with the estimators or spend time with friends and family and clients, just kicking back and enjoying the ride. So the concept of going to ask for work, I didn't enjoy. But if the sales weren't coming to us, then we would have to. And that's, I guess, where I said,
the business goes
it's
down.
just picking up the...
You need to bring fresh blood in.
Yeah.
Have to.
You have to all
Second
the time.
that stops.
It doesn't stop. Yeah, it can't stop. That's it. It can't stop. And especially in our industry, I don't know what it's like for you, Ari, but for us in commercial, these projects only go for 4 weeks. Our commercial projects.
4 weeks, did you say?
Yeah.
What do you mean only 4 weeks?
An average project in my commercial world, for an average project, it's a 4-week program. So I start the job and I finish it in a 4-week window.
That sounds too quick.
It's retail. Most of it's office and retail.
Yeah.
So in retail, you get 28 days. Sometimes less, sometimes 21.
But to make a full transformation, I mean, there's a lot of things that the puzzle, bang, 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 bang. In
Yeah,
28 days,
yeah.
and then
28
you go a
days is
day,
long.
you go a day over, and then you're going to get the
Serious sale days.
now I'm running at a loss, right?
Yeah,
I'm losing 20 grand a day.
yeah.
You're going to pay for that?
Mate,
You get those ones?
you're getting a lot worse than that, Ari. You're losing a client because, and I've said this to many clients, it's not worth it for me to build a relationship to do one job with one client that I'm never going to do work again with.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm going to make $50,000 on the job. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
What is worth it is building a relationship and,
Yeah.
and the opportunity cost that comes with that relationship. So the option of coming late is not how much am I going to lose in dollars. It's am I going to lose this client, and or are they going to speak poorly of Sheeth? And I can't afford that. Period. At 7 years on, can't afford that. So yeah, the commercial world is 21 days to 28 days, 7 days a week. That's what it is. That's the program you get.
And you don't like being late.
And I can't be late. And the times that I am late, I kick myself in the back and I make sure that I try to not do it again. And so what I was getting at is, you know, these jobs only go for 3 to 4 weeks. I've got 8 teams. So I need 8 of these projects, and clients in this commercial world don't actually know they're about to build this commercial job 3 months out. Like people in office and retail and hospitality, they don't know they're going to start a cafe in 3 months today. So you've got to be ready to capture this client when they have the thought of doing this work, or you want to be appropriate in their world that they think of Sheeth. They think of you as the person that's going to help them as soon as this idea comes to mind, because then you've got an 8-week window to guide them through the process, help them choose a designer, work through the authorities, work through the shopping center, make sure they don't get bullied, make sure they don't get ripped off, secure the project, get your team on board, engage all the contractors and deliver. And you've got to be thinking about that all the time for the next 12 weeks of projects, because your current team is building that 4 weeks of live projects. So it's hard work. Yeah.
That's extremely challenging. And I think to top it off, you've got the challenges of you got trades being busy, and you have your contractors, and you know they drop the ball, and then it makes you look bad.
Yeah. There's a few good ways that we've had to learn to combat that, and it's not a solution every time. But what I've found that I think, unfortunately for me, unfortunately for my competition, is we've really built some really powerful, strong relationships with our trades that they can't afford to let Sheeth down. We've been working with the same people for 10 to 15 years, even in my previous work before Sheeth. And these people, that they know I would have their back every day of the week, know that if they let me down or let my team down, that they could potentially be losing a client that's going to bring a lot of revenue to them. Safe revenue, risk-free revenue, because we don't rip off our trades, we don't rip off our suppliers, we pay on time, and we're proud to do that. So
I can confirm.
Yeah, great. I was late a few times, but that's all right. Water under the bridge. It's an automatic credit card system. And by doing that, we've secured some really powerful relationships. And we also, like, there's a few tricks along the way we've learned. Like, we don't shop out to 20 different people. We've got our 3 people that we go to for each trade. They know who their competition is. They even say to us, look, we're busy, use that guy. Or if that guy's so busy, we'll take it on, but really it's not the right time for us. Or we'll price it anyway, so you know what the price is in the market, but we're telling you from now we can't take it on. So there's a lot of backup plans put in place to make sure we deliver.
Yeah, crazy. And you did say when your first year you did 37 resi projects. Where is Sheeth now? Is it still mostly resi, bit of commercial? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've completely switched off resi, turned it off.
Why?
It's gone from the
What's
website.
Wrong with nice houses?
There's nothing wrong with nice houses. I love houses. I love building for myself when I'm the difficult client at the end of the email. Resi is its own beast. I'm very proud to say that we've built a lot of amazing residential projects. Beautiful, and I'm in award-winning like Vogue magazine residential projects, and they're still on our website. See, unfortunately, Ari, I think my team is too honest, and we hold our values too close to us, that we just do not know how to make money in residential. That's the bottom line. We deliver extraordinary projects. They're gorgeous projects. They photo beautifully. People are happy. But I just come out red every time. And it creates a false security for us. So most builders sign up resi jobs because it gives them a big pipeline. It's like, great, I've signed up this resi job. I'm going to have a pipeline for the next 12 months. So I'm fine. I don't need to think about sales. What they don't realize is they're just pushing the issue of profit, and they think cash flow positive is their profit when it's not. That's just them riding the wave until they realize they're in the red, and by then they've signed the next resi job. And we realized that very early on, that really it will just cash flow positive, and we weren't making money. That with COVID and all the issues that we faced there.
And just with that, for the people watching and myself, so when you're building a house as a 12-month project, you get paid at, what is it, 25%?
Yeah, so look, every builder's different. We don't like that approach because we feel like, once again, this is us being too honest. So that's pulling the wool over the client's eyes. We do it based on progress. So we finish that month's work, and then we put a progress claim in, which they will come to site and substantiate the percentage of works completed. And then 22 days later, we get paid for that work, and by then we've already performed another 22 days worth of work. So you are always chasing your tail with payments from clients. And then you've just got this really small pocket, a window where you then owe the trades money for their services a couple of days later. So then, you're waiting on the client's money to pay the trades. You shouldn't be bankrolling the client's job because you're building their house, not your own. But a client wants to, sometimes can't come up with money and or sometimes pushes back, and don't want to do the wrong thing by the trade, and all of a sudden you're bankrolling the client's job. So that's hard work.
A resi property arises right now, and the price is right. You take it?
No.
Okay.
No, don't. Interesting though. Yeah. No, interesting, right? We still take on large commercial jobs that most people would describe as resi. Like we still do large student accommodation. The rules are the same. The game is the same. We've just finished a beautiful building in Double Bay. Ari's been following us on that journey. White Key's been following it from the start for 2 years, and that is, a $17 million spectacular building in the heart of Bay Street and in Double Bay. That holds all the same values as a resi job does. It's got a huge structure. Large contracts, every trade involved, every consultant involved, every authority involved. There's a different with residential. People can often start to be unreasonable because they fall into their emotional state and they are no longer thinking logically. And also, look, it's not all the client, it's us as well. My company is not built to deliver residential where to make money in residential, you need to be really, really brutal with your trades. I mean, to the point where even if they're getting ripped off, you've got to keep going. You've got to be brutal with the client. Like if there is something not drawn on the drawing, you've got to charge a variation. And that's not us. You've got to be brutal across it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's shark-infested waters. And I'm not prepared to be that person. And if I'm not prepared to be that person, I can't expect my staff to be that person. So I just don't need to do it.
I like that. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I see houses, say in my neighborhood, they've been building for the past 6 years. They take their time. We'll leave it. We can still stay at this other. But when it comes to commercial, they want to push it along. Every day they need to complete this job. Let's go.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Mate, absolutely. My neighbour's been building for the last 2.5 years, and she's just got a roof on, the poor lady. And I started building after her, and I've been living in my house for 18 months now. So I see it all the time.
Help her out.
Mate, I offered to do the job at the time. I offered to build it, and you know what? She said the right thing. She said, I would prefer you didn't build it because we want to be neighbours. And I said, I absolutely respect that.
That's
I
great.
agree. So thank God she did that. But you're right, mate. Commercial is all about trading. How quickly can you make them trade? How quickly can you get them earning revenue? How quickly can they start earning money and not just pay rent? And can you deliver it on time so they can still get their contribution from whoever the principal entity is? And if we're able to deliver a product that's going to allow them to trade and get their contribution and work the way they need it to work and photograph well, etc., as easily as possible without too much pain, then that's what they want. And that's how we've been able to work out our unique selling point, our USP, which for many months we were trying to work out why is Sheeth different? How are we going to come up why Sheeth is different? Every builder says the same story. So we actually asked our clients, like, why do you actually engage Sheeth? What is it over the last several years that's kept you coming back to us? And they all said the same thing. Basically, they said, you make the building process easy for us. So that's our unique selling point, and that's what we've realized that we're proud of, which is, this idea that building is usually tough and scary, and what we've been able to do is make it easy and enjoyable for our clients.
Lovely, lovely. And you're 36 years old.
Yeah, just turned 36.
Now, kids?
Terrifying.
Yes,
Three kids.
3 kids, wow. How old?
One just turned 9, one just turned 6, and one is turning 4 in February.
Wow.
2 boys and a girl.
So during, just before Sheeth, you started your business, you did have it was a son?
I had one boy. That's right.
One boy.
Yeah.
Tell me what that did for your mindset.
I think you probably need to cut the rest of this part out. That's a tough one, Ari. People will always tell you, that helped them, that motivate them to do better, that motivated them to really kick their ass into gear to help them succeed. And, getting married and having children was this pivotal moment in their career to make sure they were accountable. I don't feel that way. I actually, I love my children. I love my wife. And I enjoy seeing how my hard work has given them what they're able to have today, which is, a life where they can be homeschooled with all the facilities that they want, a life where, if they want to go to a party or go on a holiday or buy this or do that, they can. And I'm happy that I've been able to provide that for them. But it's by no means affected it's by no means motivated me to work harder. On the contrary, it's probably affected it and forces me to now realize that I also need to be home for these people.
That's cool.
I know most people won't tell you that, mate. Most people will tell you it's the opposite. They've kicked them into gear. For me, it's actually helped me slow down.
Now that's beautiful, and it must be a noble, proud thing when you're able to provide for your kids and your wife.
Absolutely. Oh, definitely. It's scary as well because you want them to stay humble. And so, I mean, look, I've been asking myself that question for years. We've been on this earth for thousands of years, and no one can work out the right trick to bringing up your children the right way. So you just try your best, and you hope that you providing and you teaching them values, and you teaching them to work hard and learn and study and do the right thing, that you're doing it all correctly. And fingers crossed, you hold on to the roller coaster and you see what happens.
And what age did you let them have Instagram?
Holy shit, mate! Isn't there a rule out now that they're not allowed to have Instagram till they're like 16 or something?
There should be a rule.
Mate, I'm pretty sure something's just kicked in. Look, I think it's the phone first, Ari. I think the phone. This is where me and my wife probably won't agree, but look, I think they should have a phone at 14. She'll probably say 16, somewhere in between 14 and 16. Instagram, I think that's going to be inevitable. I think they're going to want Instagram as soon as they get the phone.
Got to give them like an old Nokia phone where they can just.
I agree with you, mate. Bring back the 7250. Oh my God. I agree with you. They were the good days. I'll bring them back. They deserve to come back.
I don't know. I think about that. How do you raise a child in this day and age? You don't want to be too hard, and then you don't want to be too soft. You can't be too cold, but then you get tough love.
Ari's story of my life every day. Only yesterday I stormed out because I said, I've had it up to here with the kids. We chose to homeschool our kids. Not many people know what homeschooling
Meaning
is.
no school. You don't
No
go to school.
school. My wife teaches them from home.
Wow.
And
Because
I
she's
was
the teacher, right?
no,
No?
no,
No?
no. There you go. So I was not an advocate of it. I said it's a terrible idea. And she said it was during COVID, so I mean you couldn't go to school anyway. She gave it a go for 6 months during the COVID lockdowns. And I had all the questions everyone asks. You know, how are they going to learn how to socialize? How are they going to mingle
my
with kids
first
their
question.
age? They all ask the same thing, Ari. And mate, I was definitely the person saying absolutely not. Like they're going back to school, and we tried a couple of times going back to school. And I tell you what, like if you do it properly, if you homeschool and you do it properly, there is no comparison to what the kid gets out of homeschooling compared to school. It is tenfold better. I mean,
Wow.
like there is absolutely no comparison. And I can tell you all about it. I'm happy to spend time with anyone that wants to learn about homeschooling. Definitely a
It's
huge
a
fan
full-time
of it.
job. I mean, for your
It's
wife.
more than a full-time job.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would say is, if you're concerned about your child, the socializing, they're going to get too much of it. They're going to be better off. At school, kids are stuck with learning from the same age group. All their friends are the same age. They're mixing with the same age. That's all they're getting. Homeschooling, you're meeting with groups from all walks of life, all ages, in different areas, across different cultures, every day. That's what the homeschooling communities become.
Wait, how are you meeting different people? Is
Yeah.
it when homeschool? So they're sitting at home.
Yes and no. Like they
No?
call it homeschooling. Homeschooling means they're not going to a facility for education that's run by the government or privately. So
Yeah.
homeschooling for us looks like the kids wake up on Monday, and they get changed. They have their breakfast, and then they drive an hour and a half out towards the farms, and they spend the day on the farms with other homeschooling communities, where they learn how to live off a farm for the day. And this is every Monday. So they've got their own garden patches, and they've grown their own vegetables that are huge right now. They've watched goats give birth. They've learned how to tackle a cow if a cow's charging at them. They've learned how to start a fire if they get stuck. So that's Monday. They've learned what foods they can eat and what they can't eat. What
Monday's
herbs
cool.
is good.
Monday's cool. I like Monday.
Mondays is awesome. Tuesday they don't like. So Tuesday's at home. Tuesday is the day where they've actually got to do their maths and English, but it's the Montessori way of learning that my wife's tackled. So it's self-teaching. The kids have a library as big as anyone can imagine, and they grab a book and they read it to themselves, or they read it to their siblings, or my wife will read it to them. And then they've got 10 exercises of maths, and they choose which maths exercise they want to do that day. I mean, they can use blocks, they can use crayons, they can count chickens, but they teach themselves. And that's Tuesday, self-teaching. Wednesday is another self-teaching day, except they get a tutor to come and help just to give my wife a break. Thursday is a day where they go to a museum, and this is a different homeschooling community now. Totally different age groups, different walks of life, genders, etc. And they will choose to either go see the Aboriginal museum theme that's going on at the moment, or the one about the Egyptians, or an art museum, and they can appreciate Andy Warhol's artworks, or whoever it is. So Thursday is a museum, and they get to choose and appreciate life or what they learn from that museum. And then Friday is a culture/religion day, and so my son Kasim is into his Pokemon now. Kasim takes things too far, but Kasim's brilliant. And so because he's learning Pokemon, he's learned the heritage of Pokemon. He's learned that it came from Japan, and now he's learning Japanese. So now he can speak fluent Japanese, and he learns that on Fridays. And he's got a tutor from Japan that teaches him Japanese on Fridays. And then they'll go to the mosque and they'll learn a bit, and they'll pray, and they'll learn about their culture, and that's Fridays. And then they go to boxing 2 days a week. So homeschooling, mate, it's its own world. I'm a big
blown
fan.
away. I am blown
I tell
away.
you, but it's not for the faint-hearted, because if you're not prepared to do all of that, then it's not good for the kid. Like, you actually have to commit to it, and that's taking a toll on the family. Like, my wife does not rest.
And I mean, you got how old are the three ages again?
So 9, 6, and 3.
Okay, but they're all different stages of
Yeah.
So meaning they all like kind of have to have their separate.
Yeah. So look, the 3-year-old, she just tags along, right? Because she doesn't need to be in school. The 6-year-old, he's always listened to the 9-year-old through his first 2 years of schooling, so he wanted to be a part of it, and he got a knack for it. But
And that's
now
cool when they can look up.
Yeah.
And they can probably catch up to the not yeah, 2
and
years
they
old. Yeah.
understand what the process is going to be like as they
Yes.
enter this schooling age. And then and now we've got the 6-year-old who's meant to be in kindergarten. So he's getting his own time with his mum and the tutor. And the 9-year-old needs to also balance his time, which is real life lessons. And again, why I'm advocating for the homeschooling is he's got to start working out. All right, well, I'm going to do my English now. I'm going to go read the Harry Potter book. He's up to like book 6. He's up to the Half Blood Prince. And this is a 9-year-old reading like Harry Potter. It's insane. And so he knows that's his English time. He's got to go and teach himself. And so Zainab will spend time teaching the younger child, and they'll swap, or they'll teach each other. So, mate, it's pretty intense.
I'm blown away. I am blown away.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's a reflection of your values and how much they mean. And I mean, you got to. It's not only it's not something where you just throw some money in it, let's send it to a private school. Then you're putting in the work.
Yeah. Or at least my wife is, and I'm having to cater to it every
You
day.
seem
that I
to
come
know
home.
what book your son's up to.
Oh, mate, we all do our best, and we all try to support each other, and that tests us at the best of times. And that's what I was going to say. Look, it's not for the faint-hearted. If you're not committed to doing it as a couple, as a family, then it can be tricky. It can be too hard.
And once you commit,
but if
you can't just
get
go,
the
you know
fruits
what,
out of
listen,
it,
just go to school. Like,
no, you can't.
You can't.
You can't stop the kid 2 years in and say, I'm going to reintroduce you into a school life. So, but if you are committed to it, the fruits of it are incredible. So, yeah, big fan of it for anyone that wants to homeschool. It's actually been really interesting as we've grown, because everyone that was like, holy shit, you homeschool, and they'd frown upon what we were doing. 2 years on, they'd be like, can we please sit down with you? Because we're really thinking about doing it. Can you teach us? So that's been cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Now, where do you see Sheeth in 5 years' time?
Oh, wow. All right. So we set our 5-year goal, or our 10-year goal, which is now 5 years away. And
What do you call it? The big hairy goal?
audacious goal.
Yeah.
It's a BHAG. Yeah, that's right. Big, hairy, audacious goal. Our BHAG is to be, mate, it's actually, look, it goes back to our values. There's no ego, there's no arrogance. We are trying to be humble. Apparently, we're trying to be too humble. We got told today we should actually speak up a bit more about what we're doing for the industry. Ari, truth is, I don't want to grow. I really love the space we're in. I really love the company we've created. I love Sheeth and what it's been able to provide for me and my family. I love Sheeth for what it's been able to provide the team and the staff, and what it's been able to do for the community and the commercial world. So the idea is to get to approximately a 30 million turnover with 30 to 34 staff, which is what we're at now. And what we want to do is we just want to get better at what we do. So the intention is not to grow. The intention is not to get bigger or badder or bigger offices or more cars or anything like that. It is actually just to work on our service and deliver the service better each and every day for the next 5 years. And somewhere in between all of that, I'd like to also have a day off. So the goal is to have a 4-day working week.
That's pretty good. 4-day working week.
Yeah, that's the goal. I don't actually know what I'm going to do with the 5th day, because I'll probably find myself back at work. But I want to have that option.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, one piece of advice you give to a 10-year-old Hussain Sheath?
There's no such thing as not being able to achieve something. There's always a way.
I like it. What is it? It's impossible until it's done.
I haven't heard that one, but that's pretty
wrong.
bang on. That's pretty bang on.
I don't know if I got that quite right.
Sounds right, mate. I'm going to buy it. I'll take it.
It's impossible until it's done.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. And I believe it, and I'll teach everyone that. And I told my 16-year-old brother that the other day. I said, stop removing this concept of you not being able to achieve it, because you can. And once you realize that, it opens your eyes to all the different ways you can achieve it. And it's a pretty special moment in people's lives.
Yeah, and I guess, it's one thing you're on TikTok and you're scrolling and, that pops up and it's, Michael Jordan saying that. But when you're in the presence of an individual that virtually came from extremely humble beginnings, right the way through, you stuck to your values, and you backed yourself, and and the big thing is right the way through your values from a spiritual, from a relationships, and from a career path. It feels like it's the values that have virtually shaped your destiny. And again, sticking to those, all good things have come from that. And at the end of the day, you all the hard work that you've put in has ripened, has come, has rewarded the universe, as you said, has given back. And I mean, you've done it, so you can be very proud, and it's an honor to hear that story, Hussein. It was
Thanks, Ari.
really great chat.
Yeah, it was good to get it out. I haven't spoken like that in a long time.
It's a bit
so
surreal.
I appreciate
It's
it,
a bit
mate.
surreal, isn't it? When you're thinking back, I did that.
and I mean, just these questions and resurfacing some of that previous stuff. It's good. I think it's healthy.
I bet we run this podcast in 10 years.
Mate, I'm hoping you've recorded this because I was just looking over the camera.
I reckon
recording.
I know you're
I'm
saying
not
you're
going to
not
remember
grow.
that stuff.
Hey, just for the record, I reckon it's going to double.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. I reckon you're going to keep going.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think it's a really special place that we've tried to stay. And we're enjoying it. And you know, Ari, if that means that we can help twice as many people and it doubles, but I'm still able to deliver what I'm delivering, which is sticking to my values and rewarding my team, then I'm happy to do it.
Yes. What do they say? And this is Mark Downey. As the company grows, naturally, that bit of attention to detail will become smaller and smaller, and that is the fight. You got to keep the attention to detail. You know,
you're spot on, and that's what I don't want to lose, and I won't lose it. So the trick's going to be, how do I keep it?
The worst thing is when you get a customer and they, you're just getting too big for me. It breaks your heart. You're like, no, I live and breathe this. This is my baby. You don't say that.
Yeah. Look, that's tricky. I agree with you because you do one big job and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, you're that big builder that's got all the cranes in the sky." And
you're too expensive for me.
Yeah, and you're like, mate, sure, if I'm 10% more than the last guy is too expensive for you, maybe I'm the wrong builder. But if you're prepared to pay 10% more for peace of mind, and your builder's going to be here at the end of the job, then you're talking to the right guy. So we've run into that obstacle, and we'll keep running into that obstacle. And some clients will be the right clients for us, and some won't, and that's all right.
I love it. Well, thank you once again for coming on, taking the time, coming out to Parramatta.
Yeah, we got to get you closer to home, mate.
You told me, you guys, Ari, I drove a long way.
What's wrong with Marrickville?
I'm coming. Give me a couple of years.
I hope so, mate. I hope so.
All right. Well, thank you once again. And that's a wrap.